What? Oh, man. Oh. What? I had to reboot everything, man. Hey, check it out without a doubt. Let's see what this bad boy is all about, man. Y'all don't know. I got a lot of equipment for doing recording. This is a recording studio. I do music. So then we decided to do this YouTube thing, which has been working. So I kind of crossed over to setting everything up to do YouTube. And sometimes things don't agree with each other. So anyway, I had to reboot everything and get this, the ScreenFlow that we use. We use ScreenFlow, y'all, as a software to do the reactions. And long story short, it wasn't pulling up once I finished, it wasn't saving it. Then the power went out last night while I was doing a 2-hour-long video, and I had to start all over. Then that didn't save. And I did a 2-hour video on it and it wouldn't save. I was in panic mode again. Did half the video, so that was 1 hour. So then it was 3 hours working on the same video. I'm just trying to explain to you guys some of the heartaches and problems that can go on while doing. Now look, now the thing don't even want to get big. Lord have mercy. What in the world? Let's hit refresh, man. So anyway, check this out, man. Footage of Big U ordering the hit on Nipsey's best friend goes viral. This went viral, man. God damn, Trap Pulse is where we at. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy.
The footage you see here is not just any footage. The guy in the blue shirt is one of Big U's associates, and according to the streets, this was the first move, an attempted attack on Fatz's shop, just days before the hit was ordered. But who was Fatz? He was Nipsey Hussle's closest friend, his right hand, his most loyal soldier, and his loyalty would cost him everything. He didn't just stand by Nipsey, he died because of him. Here's a video of him.
You know what we went through, you know?
We got the old footage, man. Be on there, man. Y'all gonna see Fats with big t-shirts, you know? This didn't change, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We growing. Yeah. Still going, man. It's a marathon, man, you know?
Yeah. This smiley person ended up being caught in the middle of it all. Some say his death was a random act of violence, but the streets tell a different story. A story that leads back to one name, Big U.
Big U tried to fire on Fats.
Fats put him on his pockets.
And then Fats put him on his pockets.
I got a call on that one.
He put him on his pockets, right?
But to understand what really happened, we have to go back to the moment Nipsey broke away from Big U's grip.
It was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which will end 2019.
Crazy.
Hello.
The allegations against Big U. From the start, Big U has denied any involvement in Fatz's death.
They say, y'all, you know, it's another new one too. I got into it with Fats. Let me give y'all the information on that. I ain't never got into it with Fats. Fats is my little homeboy. Ever in my life, me and Fats ever got into it with nobody. Never, ever.
But his aggressive response raises an important question. Why is he so defensive? And why is he addressing these rumors as if he's been hearing them for years? Another key moment comes when he says,
I wasn't even in town. So figure that one out.
Yet the street narrative suggests otherwise. According to some sources from the 60s, Fatz's death was part of a larger internal conflict that stemmed from Nipsey's fallout with Big U. The Nipsey Hussle and Big U split. The tension between Nipsey and Big U reportedly started when Nipsey broke free from his contract with Big U. That move, according to some, didn't sit well with Big U, leading to alleged attempts to sabotage Nipsey's career. Apparently, Big U's team retaliated by going to Nip's studio and ripped out all the equipment. Big U himself admits to reclaiming his equipment, saying,
When I left the music industry, me and Nipsey had a fallout. He had my equipment, and I wanted to use my equipment. He got mad because I got my equipment back. So then that's when our conflict started. I ended up getting the equipment back and said I'm gonna move it right here at my shop on 43rd and Crenshaw.
This wasn't just a simple disagreement. Nipsey was trying to take his career to the next level, while Big U reportedly saw it as disloyalty. What followed was a string of incidents that escalated their conflict. One of the most shocking claims is that there was an attempted backdoor setup on Nipsey. According to the story, while Nipsey was shooting a video with YG in Compton, he got a call warning him that a hit had been placed on him. The backdoor was ordered on Nipsey Hussle by Big U, but instead of fulfilling the order, Nipsey had so much love they gave him the heads up. Instead of risking it in Compton, Nipsey made a critical decision. He told the team to turn around, head to the Marathon store. They were going to shoot the video in the hood. This move might have saved his life that day, but what's even more telling is what happened next when Big U allegedly tried to shut down the shoot in Nipsey's own hood. The studio fight. After the video shoot, Nipsey reportedly confronted Big U at the studio. Witnesses claim that Nipsey called him out directly.
Nip had an altercation with him in the studio or whatever. Big U was like, "Is this song about me?" He was like, "Yeah, it's about you, cuz." So
that's when things escalated. Big U allegedly threw a water bottle at Nipsey's face, and Nipsey challenged him to a fight. The fight took place in the middle of the street, and according to witnesses, Big U wasn't prepared for what happened next.
Man, Nip maxed this dude out. Walked him up out of there until Bear Claw say, "Bro, you don't need to be fighting this young dude. Tiny Draws, get out there."
Big U might have underestimated Nipsey, but the fight didn't end their conflict. It only made things worse. After losing the fight, Big U reportedly started harassing Nipsey's Marathon store. But what's most chilling is what happened next.
We end up having to come talk about that. Pull up the homies, and Nip admit it's wrong, but still there's some consequences to your wrong. I came to pick him up that morning so he can get his discipline.
This line is significant. Big U is essentially saying that he was coming to enforce a punishment on Nipsey for stepping out of line, but Nipsey's brother stepped in and stopped it.
And his brother got in the way. Talking about my brother not going nowhere. If I was his brother, I'd have did the same thing.
Had Nipsey gone with Big U that day, who knows what might have happened? Where does Fats fit into all this? But this is where the story gets even darker. Fats was Nipsey's right-hand man, the kind of friend who would never let anything happen to him. If Big U had issues with Nipsey, then Fats was automatically in the crossfire. You see, Fats wasn't just another name in Nipsey Hussle's story. He was family. He was there from the start, long before the fame, the money, or the Marathon brand. If you really wanted to understand Nipsey, you have to understand who Fats was and why his death shook Nipsey to his core. Stephen Fats Donaldson was born in Los Angeles in 1986 and grew up in the Hyde Park area, one of the roughest neighborhoods in the city. Gang culture wasn't just something you joined, it was a way of life, something you were born into. And for Fats, it was no different. He became a part of the Rolling 60s, the same neighborhood set as Nipsey, and from that moment on, their brotherhood was solidified. But Fats wasn't just some regular dude in the streets. He was tough, always underestimated because of his size, but he could fight. And he wasn't just muscle either. He was sharp, smart, and incredibly loyal. When Nipsey started pushing his music in the mid-2000s, Fats was right there with him, hitting the streets, handing out business cards, and making sure people knew about Nipsey. If Nipsey had a move to make, Fats was down. When Nipsey and his brother Black Sam were hustling DVDs and mixtapes, Fats was holding it down, keeping watch for the police and making sure the operation stayed running. Their hustle grew, and eventually that street grind turned into something bigger, business ownership. The Marathon brand wasn't just about music, it was about economic power, about taking back their own community. Nip, Sam, and Fats opened businesses in their neighborhood, from the Marathon clothing store to a dispensary. But with success came new enemies. By 2017, tensions were high in the Rolling 60s. There were internal beefs, power struggles, and old street politics that never really went away. And Fats, he wasn't the type to back down. He stood his ground, but that also made him a target.
He get a call. "I got some more flight, bro. Come outside." Man, they had security, so both the Fats in there in flip-flops and shorts. Marathon shirt. He comfy, like chestnuts roasting over an open fire. Dude still on the phone with him. "Oh, you gotta walk to the corner. I'm right here on the corner. I parked over here." Dead homies. By the time he made it to that corner, he was ambushed.
On September 29, 2017, Fats got a call. Someone he knew, a fellow Rollin' 60s member, told him to come outside. Fats was hit multiple times. He tried to run back inside the dispensary, but he collapsed before he could make it. He was gone, just 30 years old. For Nipsey, losing Fats was like losing a piece of himself.
Lost your partner Fats, like,
yeah.
How you dealing with that situation?
That caught me off guard completely.
This wasn't just a friend, this was his brother, someone who had been there for every struggle, every win, every moment of the grind.
We've been sitting on everything. We've been just holding our punches just to do it all at once. And you know what I'm saying? We've been all anticipating the moment that we get to enjoy.
Fats had been there before the marathon was a brand, before Nipsey was a superstar, before the world was watching.
So it's really f***ed up that my partner and my homeboy, you know what I'm saying, ain't on this side of the dimension to experience it with us and you know, benefit from it.
And now he was gone. Some sources claim that Fats' death was a direct consequence of the ongoing war between Nipsey and Big U. Whether it was a warning, a message, or something even more sinister, no one in the 60s is willing to talk about it openly, and that silence speaks volumes.
I ain't expect that at all, and the timing was crazy, so it's really up.
While there's no official proof tying Big U to Fats' death, the patterns are hard to ignore. The tension between Big U and Nipsey, the attempts to sabotage his career, and the backdoor hit all paint a picture of deep-seated conflict. Big U's criminal past. But to really understand how we got here, we have to rewind and take a look at Big U's past. His story has been a roller coaster, full of struggles, comebacks, and everything in between. He did 13 years behind bars, and that could have been the end of the road for him, but instead of letting it define him in a negative way, he used that time to reflect, grow, and eventually make a name for himself in a whole new way.
When I came home in 2004, I would do 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 in the morning, afternoon football, and then at night it was music.
When he got out, he was focused on making a real impact, especially in his community.
What did you get 56 years for?
For nothing.
Oh my God, don't say that.
They said it was possession sales. It was robbery.
Big U put in serious work to create opportunities for young people, giving them mentorship, resources, and guidance to help them navigate life's challenges.
This is the place where we do all the work to service the community. We'll give you guys a look at what I've done and what I've been up to for the last 16 years or so.
He was also big in the youth sports scene, particularly with the 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 Cougars football program. That team wasn't just about football. It was about discipline, teamwork, and leadership, setting kids up for success way beyond the field.
So I always had a love of football. I studied. My main sport growing up was martial arts, and that's what I did, martial art boxing. And then when I came home, to answer the question, Robert Garrett.
Between his work in music, philanthropy, and sports, Big U's story looked like a classic redemption arc, proof that with enough determination, you can turn things around and build something meaningful. But no matter how much good he did, there was always a shadow following him, and that shadow got a whole lot darker after Nipsey Hussle's murder. Nipsey Hussle's death conspiracy. The rumors started swirling almost immediately. While there was never any solid proof, whispers in the streets linked Big U to Nipsey's death, with some believing he had a hand in it, whether directly or through influence. Big U, with his long-standing ties to LA's gang culture, was already a polarizing figure, and some even suggested he had a motive or played the role in hiring the shooter.
Passed away automatically, Big U did it.
Of course, with how high-profile Nipsey's murder was, these theories caught fire. Big U's name kept coming up, especially since his relationship with Nipsey had ended on a rough note. There was talk of internal conflicts between Nipsey's Rollin' 60s crew, rumors of extortion, and all kinds of street politics that might have played a role in what happened.
He was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately.
After Nipsey's passing, Big U spoke publicly about their bond, saying Nipsey was like family to him. Just days later, he played a major role in organizing one of LA's biggest peace marches, bringing together rival gangs to walk through the streets and pay tribute to Nipsey at the Marathon store.
One of the things was, you know, while the sweater and the crew necks is getting famous, everybody started bootlegging. The Tag Game Marathon, the Crenshaw crew neck is a knockoff.
In the year that followed, Big U reflected on his former artist. opening up about Nipsey's influence and their shared impact on the Crenshaw community. That rare conversation gave people a more personal look at their relationship. Big U also set the record straight on his role in Nipsey's career, explaining that Nipsey was signed to him under his production company, Unique Music. He also played a part in managing him alongside Steve Lobel. According to Big U, he brought Steve in to be the face of things because his own reputation could make certain business dealings tricky. He believed that at the time, having a white frontman for a black situation made things run smoother. Their management was split. Big U handled one side, Steve took care of the other.
He did what no other rappers do today. He sold his own music. So when I came along and Steve came along, we had a formula that merged with what he do, but he outworked any artist I've seen.
Big U also pointed out that while Nipsey went full speed ahead into the entertainment industry, he himself stuck to his community work, the same work he had been doing for years. After getting out of prison in 2004, he didn't reconnect with Nipsey right away. It wasn't until around 2006 to 2007 that they started working together again. During that time, Big U was linked up with Suge Knight and his brother-in-law Rick, and Suge even provided studio time for Nipsey's early recordings. But then comes the big question: how did Nipsey die, and why do some people think Big U had anything to do with it? The official story is that Eric Holder pulled the trigger, but the streets have their own version of events.
Nipsey Hussle was gunned down in 2019, and today his killer, Eric Holder Jr., was sentenced to 60 years to life.
Eric Holder murder case. Nearly 4 years after Nipsey Hussle's tragic murder, the man convicted of killing him, Eric R. Holder Jr., was sentenced to 60 years to life in prison.
The jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Eric Ronald Holder Jr., guilty of the crime of first-degree murder.
Nipsey was shot and killed on March 31st, 2019, right in front of his own store in South LA. The police quickly labeled it a personal dispute, and 2 days later, Holder turned himself in at a mental health clinic. He was charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and illegal firearm possession, though he pleaded not guilty and was held on a $6.5 million bail. At the trial, the prosecutors laid out the case. Holder and Nipsey knew each other from back in the day, and when they randomly crossed paths in a strip mall parking lot, Nipsey allegedly brought up rumors that Holder had cooperated with law enforcement. Witnesses said that minutes after that conversation, Holder left, came back with 2 guns, and opened fire.
On March 31st, 2019, Eric Ronald Holder Jr. shot and killed Nipsey Hussle.
Prosecutors argued that it was a planned hit, not just a spur-of-the-moment reaction. Holder's lawyer didn't deny that he pulled the trigger, but argued that it was a heat-of-passion crime, pushing for a manslaughter charge instead of first-degree murder, but the jury wasn't buying it.
If he was just killed him because it was a snitch, he wouldn't even die. They would have shot him. Bonbon! You called me a snitch, bonbon! That's what it would have been. When you come back 3 times, you kick a man, you've been wanting to fight him and kick him.
They found Holder guilty after less than an hour of deliberation on the second day. The fact that he had time to walk away, grab his guns, eat some fries, and then come back to shoot Nipsey made it clear to them that it was premeditated. Besides first-degree murder, Holder was also found guilty of 2 counts of attempted voluntary manslaughter for hitting 2 bystanders, along with charges of illegal firearm possession and assault with a deadly weapon. In court, he stayed emotionless, sitting in a navy suit and white sneakers, while the verdict was read out to a silent courtroom.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Eric Ronald Holder Jr., guilty of the crime of first-degree murder.
Nipsey's legacy. Nipsey's death didn't just shake the hip-hop world. It sent waves through LA's gang culture. Something rare happened in the months following his murder, a massive effort to bring peace between rival gangs, something that hadn't been seen since the early 90s. Bloods and Crips, divided by decades of violence, came together to honor Nipsey, who had always pushed for unity and peace despite his own affiliations. Even with Holder behind bars, the theories and whispers about Nipsey's death haven't died down. Some believe the beef went beyond a personal dispute, hinting at deeper tensions within the rolling 60s, or even suggesting outside influences had a hand in it. And that's where Big U's name keeps popping up in conversations. Whether there's any truth to it or not is another question entirely. After Nipsey Hussle's murder, peace talks between rival gangs felt like a throwback to 1992, when Tupac helped organize a truce in Watts.
We as rappers
bought that violence. We bought the violence that we seen on the street. We put in our records for years. And after 3-4 years, people finally starting to see it because of all the statistics that's going on in the streets. If we stop talking about it, then they wouldn't take statistics. And when they stop taking statistics, then we'd be killing each other in the street and these white people wouldn't care no more.
Back then, the Thug Life Manifesto set rules for the streets. No snitching, no harming civilians, no selling to kids, aiming to bring order and uplift communities. Nipsey was just 6 at the time, but decades later, he embodied that same vision. On March 31st, 2019, he was shot outside his own store at Crenshaw and Slauson, the very place he turned into a symbol of unity and progress. Nipsey called himself the Tupac of his generation on dedication. He was set to get a Hollywood Walk of Fame star on August 15th, but he was more than a rapper. He was a visionary entrepreneur. He fought gentrification, invested in his community, mentored artists, and worked to unite rival gangs. His legacy wasn't just music, it was about uplifting LA and redefining its future. Who really killed Nipsey? Now, there's no debate about who pulled the trigger. Eric Holder was caught, tried, and convicted, but the real mystery is why he did it. Officially, prosecutors say it was a personal dispute, something about Nipsey confronting Eric over snitching rumors, but on the streets, a whole different theory has been making the rounds, one that points directly at Big U. According to Whispers in the Hood, Eric didn't act alone. He was supposedly carrying out orders. And if you know anything about Big U, you know he's got deep connections and serious pull in LA. Word is, business owners in certain areas have to pay Big U taxes for protection. And since Nipsey had his store right there, he was expected to pay up like everyone else. Some say Eric was the one collecting that so-called tax on Big U's behalf, and when Nipsey refused, that's when things turned deadly. Now, let's be real, these are street rumors, not proven facts. Nobody really knows the full story, and if Nipsey were still here, even he might not have all the answers. But because people believe Eric was acting on someone else's orders, the blame keeps circling back to Big U. If these allegations ever hold weight in court, Big U could be looking at a life sentence in federal prison. But as of now, it's all speculation, just another chapter in a story that's still unfolding. Anyway, that's it for the video, folks. Bye.
That's it for the video, folks. Bye. Golly, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey and his boy. One of his boys got shot down, man. And I don't understand why would you want to live that life? I don't understand why you would want to live that life in the first place. But anyway, it is what it is, man. I'm still learning a lot of this stuff. I didn't even know that Big U and Nipsey even had a relationship. So all this is new to me. So y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey, man. I think he was doing some great things. He was getting more recognition because I heard about Nipsey years ago. Never heard of Big U until a week ago. So, and no disrespect to anything, I just didn't hear it. It just coming across my ears, so to speak. Look here, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.